Hi guys, it's Karen with Love Your Land, and my big idea today was to take all my plants out and feed them, which that's not really a big idea, that's pretty normal, but I wanted to bring you along for the ride because I'm going to be talking about trifecta. A lot of people don't know what that is still, and how much to use and all that kind of thing. But I got all these out here. Well, these are just from the lower level. I obviously have all of these still, but just from the lower level I got all these out and I realized you can't possibly see what I'm doing. So I'm gonna go ahead and feed some of these guys, get them back down there, and then when I have a little spot here cleared out, I'll bring it back and we'll talk about it more. All right, hang on one sec. Okay, I'm back. So just to recap, about a month ago, for most of these plants, I potted them up and they were about this big, believe it or not. Maybe a slightly bigger, but you can go back to the very last video I did, and it was a month ago, and that's these guys. So that's pretty darn incredible. And let me put that away, there we go. So what I like to do is, well, let me back up. I do that a lot. So when I potted them up, or whenever when I start my seeds, what I do is I have a big bin of soil over there. You've seen this in videos, but for those of you who haven't, and I take a gallon milk jug like this with the top sawed off, and I fill a gallon of soil and put it in here, maybe 2, but whether I put 1 or 2 in here, 2 is all that will fit. I put 1 tablespoon of trifecta per gallon of soil that I put in here, mix it up, and pot my plants up with that. That's a very low dose of trifecta, but when they're little tiny guys like the one I just showed you, they don't need any more than that, and they shouldn't be overfed. You can actually burn your plants. I've never burnt my plants with trifecta, but it's possible, and it's wasteful because they don't need that much. So just use a low ratio. But now that they're this big, I mean, that's a real tomato plant right there. It needs an adequate amount of food. So I'm still going to be giving it less than when they go outside. They'll be getting even more per plant when I do that. But for now, this pot holds a little under a gallon of soil, but it's close enough to a gallon in my mind. So what I do, well, and then there's others. I don't have a small one. If it were this size, which is half the size of that one, I would give this one a teaspoon of trifecta, okay? And so that if they were getting a gallon of soil, if they're getting 1 tablespoon per gallon of soil before, and now they're getting a tablespoon in less than a gallon, it's not quite doubling the amount, but probably close. So what I do, and the reason I do what I'm about to do is so that I don't miss any or overfeed anybody, and you'll see why. So what I do is I just go through and give everybody their proper amount. Just sprinkle it right on top. I've already given some to those guys. So this way I can visually see that there's trifecta in there, and when you have a lot of plants like I do, it's really easy to forget, and they'll kind of look the same after a while. So you just sprinkle it on top to all of them, and then when you've done that, we're going to pretend that I've finished all of them so we can get on with this. Then I just take you can use your fingers, but just so you can avoid getting your nails completely immersed in soil constantly, I just take a popsicle stick and just kind of scratch it in with that. And you want to go down a couple of inches, 2, 3, but that's enough. And just make sure if you've put like a big clump of it in one spot, you kind of roll it around and then water it. Okay, and then once I've watered this guy, because I know right now that there's trifecta in here, I put it down here. That's my method for avoiding overfeeding or missing some. I have missed feeding plants many times in the past. This guy is so dry I can hardly see the trifecta. He needed to be watered before. That's another thing, is I do water my plants a little bit before I feed them for 2 reasons. One, you can see the trifecta better, and also because it does give them, then it's a good opportunity to get a deep watering in there. So that's why I do that. Give him a little bit more. Okay, he's fed. I'm going to put him down here. So I will go through the rest of these and get it done. Also, if you haven't pruned, this is another tip. If you haven't pruned the growth tips off of your tomatoes yet, and they're this big especially, now's a good time. You have them up here. I got a text. Go ahead and trim that off. So the growth tip is just this top part. And for those of you who don't know, what that's going to do is it's going to allow for lateral growth. This growth tip contains a hormone that suppresses lateral growth so that the plant will grow up. Okay, but we don't want them to just grow up. Like, this is a little too top heavy, a little too tall. I'll be dealing with him later. So if you remove this, just this, you don't have to give your plant like this major haircut. Just remove that little guy. If you want, you can put this in water. It'll grow roots and you'll have another plant. I have enough. But it's a good time. It's just a good, you know, it's an all-around maintenance day when you pull all your plants out from wherever you keep them. You know, as they get bigger, it's hard to get to them. So I try to cover as many needs as possible in one fell swoop. The last thing I will tell you is there's always going to be people out there who don't know what Trifecta is and where to get it. It's not in your Home Depots or your Lowe's at this point. I don't know where they will eventually retail their product, and I'm certain they will though. But I don't know. Maybe it'll be a specialty thing, but right now you have to go to migardener.com to get it. MI is in Michigan, and then gardener.com. And as a matter of fact, I put a link down below, and if you use that link, it's an affiliate link for me, with me, then you get 10% off your entire order of regularly priced items. But right now they're having a spring sale this weekend, and I don't remember when it ends. It might end at midnight tonight, I'm not sure, but it's 30% off everything. That's not in addition to my discount, but I would head over there if you have stuff to walk and chew gum at the same time. If you need anything from them, now's a good time to go over there and get it. Anyway, that's it. I think I've covered everything for now. If you have any questions, post a comment below or ask me on Facebook and I will answer you. And that's it. Have a good Sunday. Bye. There's my text again.